Hi everyone, coming to you from Los Angeles, California, the home of Dance Art and Life podcast. I'm your host, Danya the Gypsy, and this is a judgment-free zone. I'm looking for stories of dancers, musicians, and artists of all walks of life, their struggles, hard work, highs and lows of their careers, but most of all, the life lessons they've learned following their passion. Today's guest is very much known person in our industry. He was dancer himself, 10 times champion of Belarus, winning all the major competitions in Europe, throughout Europe. And when he moved to US, he won the second place in the Fred Astaire's World Championship. He has his own behind-the-scenes show called Backstage Ballroom, and if you are a dancer, ballroom dancer, and you don't know this person, you're not really in the scene. In this first episode of my podcast, I really appreciate that he said yes to do the podcast in the first place. And I'm very lucky to call this person my friend. Dmitry Nikolaev, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Actually, that's awesome to be on the other side of
the interview.
Usually, I'm the one who is asking the questions.
Got it. Dimitri was waiting for me 2 hours in the morning because we said 7 a.m. and I overslept, and you see it on my face. And when he came in right away, his professional eye, he goes, Daniel, you can do this and that and that and that and that. We go way back. That's why I really appreciate his input. And I learned a lot from you. And this show is actually, what do you call it? Like it got born because of you. You motivated me so much and showed me all the stuff on the computer and you know, editing and watching your content on the competition and just
that's means
I have a lot of things to learn, but thanks to you, this show
this is how it's all starting, dude. This is how it's all you have a much better setup than I ever had when I started out. If somebody watched
this is Dimitri being kind to me because he knows I need the encouragement.
No. If you watched, we'll Google some shows from when I just starting out. So Ballroom Backstage is already about 8 years on a scene. My first shows were with a camera and a phone. So instead of the microphone, I was using the phone. Back then, we didn't have even that recorder, what we were using now, or microphones. It was always very bulky, so it wasn't really so pragmatic to use them. So I used the iPhone. It was the best microphone back then to suppress the background noise and so on. So you would see me in the competition with a tripod, with camera, and iPhone, back then I figured out that even with that I can do more than with all other stuff. So you have a much better setup than I ever did.
I was learning from the best. I came to your studio, you showed me all the equipment you have, and I was like, well, let's go on to Amazon and let's order some stuff, you know. Now I want to start from the very, very beginning, because the reason why I chose you, because as I said in the intro, you doing so much for our community, putting out content, doing the competition, you showing, we had the conversations many times that you want to show the ballroom dancing from a side that nobody
ever seen.
Yeah, because you know, we have this Dance Mom show on the stuff and this and that, and you just promote the beauty of it.
I'm showing what I really love about it. To be honest, I'm love behind the scenes. We not only love the dance sport itself or the dance floor. Yes, we all love competitive, but I think the most beautiful part is the life of a dancer and the way you live it. Be you pro-am or be you a competitor, a pro competitor, your life is beautiful. And just being in a in a changing room, at the
Yeah.
competition, sometimes just to sit there and listen to the sounds is just amazing. And being behind the scenes on major events, I think it's just breathtaking.
Yeah.
Better than any Oscars, probably, because it's you have so many people, beautiful people, talented people in one room. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what I always try to show. And I always felt we don't have enough behind the scenes media for that. So
Well, now we do, because if you on the competition, you capture so many things, and your creativity just blows my mind.
thanks so much. I mean, that was always the goal, to feel. I think it's a quote from 300 Spartans: "Make one man feel like 100." That was always the goal.
Nice. Never heard quote from 300. I like the movie. I didn't hear the quote though. Now I'm aware of it. Okay, Dmitry, I want to start from the very beginning, because I want to know your story. This podcast is about stories of people, and I want to have professionals, teachers, students on the podcast just telling me their stories, because I want to motivate people, and people that listen, to either, if you're not a dancer, start dancing, get interested in dancing, but also, for our community to actually hear those stories and struggles and the pitfalls of trainings and competitions, so people don't feel alone in this, because I know it can get lonely when you're dancing and you have a goal. And I mean, in any sport, but in ballroom dancing is very it's slightly different than other sports, because you have a coach, you go in, and in our industry you have multiple coaches, and maybe they say different things, and then you kind of get lost. And I mean, I've been there in my career, so my first question is, obviously we know now that you were the champion of Belarus 10 times, right? About 10 times?
Yeah.
12?
No.
15?
No.
10 times.
10 times.
No, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. And you were dancing only Latin?
Only Latin, yeah.
So you did...
Latin,
you told me that when you were junior two?
That's true, yeah. I think when I turned to junior 2, okay, the long story short, I grew up in a studio.
Wait a minute. There's no too long of a story for this podcast. Okay.
So from the very beginning, yes. I danced Latin, and when I was a kid, I told to my mom, either I'm quitting the ballroom, because it's boring for me, or I'm quitting dancing. So the decision was made for they agreed, my coaches agreed, so I liked Latin the most. I was very active guy, and in a studio when I was primarily, I would say where my conscious life of a dancer started, when I said to myself, this is what I want to do for life. In that studio primarily was dance ballroom. So I grew up practicing through ballroom music. So for me, like you said, being lonely, or I'd never felt that way, because I always learned to be resilient to whatever circumstances you are in. I had to suffer in the winter, in a cold weather, through listening waltz for 2 hours.
Oh my God!
Trying to dance samba or something, and developing this over the years made its mark, because then you're not bothered by many circumstances. And I feel lots of couples nowadays missing that. They're missing this ideal circumstance to practice. They're missing ideal music, or ideal floor, or ideal lighting, and so on. So we grew up with in the studios where we didn't have a very good dance floor. So
Dmitry referred to, in cold weather, he means the building wasn't heated, right?
Well, I'm telling you a cool story. So I actually nowadays I have lots of dancers still competing, and this is, if you listen to my interviews with many of them, we go way back. We danced same world championships, we've been in the same competitions, even the same studios. And there's a couple, they live right now in New York area, in Mount Kisco, actually. They own Artemiri's studio now, and it was interesting. So I was growing up. I was junior 1 turning junior 2, and they already were dancing amateurs. And the building was so cold at the winter that when we finished practice, when the dude was changing his t-shirt, he had steam comes off his body.
I experienced that in Russia as well.
It was so funny. I mean, but you know, when you tell it to somebody here, people cannot even comprehend.
Imagine,
But back then, there, dancing was the thing, you know.
And it was normal, right? Oh yeah, it's winter, so and we don't have heating.
Gloves, you practice in a hat, you practice in a jacket until you're warm, and then you know.
Yeah, I remember when I had a partner from Russia. I went to Russia, to Moscow, and then I went to the other city where she was living, right? And I remember teaching kids. They came in. It was winter. The walls were super big, right? And it was colder inside than outside because the building holds the cold. And I remember walking into this ballroom, and I had like 5 layers on me, and I was shivering. And the kids come in the short sleeve shirt, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a lesson." And I'm like, man. And I was living at a time in Switzerland, which is also cold in winter, but this was another level.
Because it's cold in the building too. So it's just,
and it just goes into your bones, man.
But I think it's the people who got through that time. I think. The generation which is now who came from there, I mean, they know different life, and I think that's what makes you a better competitor, not a dancer but better competitor, more resilient, more headstrong, and so on. Okay, so let's rewind even more further. Oh my god. I don't remember that much.
No, we don't go to the time when your parents met and stuff. But you were born in which city?
Minsk.
So the
capital.
The capital.
What you see right now on the news, all unfortunate that situation was happening between Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. So everybody know where Belarus is now, where Minsk is now. So I was born in Minsk, beautiful city.
Yeah. So you were born, and basically you came out of the wound and you started to dance Latin.
No.
So how did it happen? So you were 2 years old, you were just
ballroom dancing. I started to dance when I was in 5th grade. Actually,
that's late, man.
But I wasn't introduced to that. But my mom, my family, they were in showbiz there. Like they were choreographing a lot. So I've been choreographing
show business, like
big performances. We're talking about
national theater or TV or
TV. Actually all sorts of levels. Back then there was no like you either there or that.
I'm learning something about Dmitry that he never told me. I never knew that your parents were in entertainment.
Yeah, my mom is still in entertainment business. She's still working for the state circus, which is actually the level what they do. The level what they do is actually higher than Circus du Soleil. I mean, it's incredible what they do, how they choreograph for people. Awesome. They just don't have the same capacity of the imagery. But the level of skill they choreograph for and do is just amazing. So they're still there. So coming back to me, I was around the stage all the time. I performed a couple of times. I loved it, and so I was open to it. So
before the 5th grade.
Yeah.
So you were like a small child coming in.
I was always around. Yeah, and then in 5th grade we had, like in every school they had like little. After school programs for kids to dance.
Got it,
and the couple of girls from my class, they come up to me and said, "Hey, we have the ballroom
class,
like ballroom class, and we're missing the guys. Would you like to try?" And I said, "Why not?" So
why not? I was in entertainment.
And then when I started out, so half a year later, those girls quit, and
you stayed,
and I stayed. I'm still dancing, basically, So it's just
right.
Yeah.
So walk us through. So they ask you, you walk in, what was your? Do you remember your first impressions?
Yeah. Why I'm not in the first line? I'm doing better than anybody else. I remember that.
Really?
Oh yes.
Wow.
I remember that. I mean, I picked up the moves pretty fast, but
Yeah.
until a certain point, I was a rather, I would say, lazy kid. I mean, I would say light lazy. So I was just like, okay, I didn't know what it could lead to. So I think the interesting part was starting when after switching.
Well, 5th grade is like what, 10, 9, 10, 11?
10, yeah.
10.
Yeah. So I think the interesting part started around when I was later, about 12 already. I got introduced to competition, to a real big, I would say, national level competition.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple of dancers, actually, who is here right now in the United States too. And I saw them and I was like, wow.
Dmitry just knows everybody in our industry. Everybody. He just walks into the ballroom and he's like, "Oh, hi! I didn't see you for 30 years. Hi, how you doing?"
It's a job, you know. So
yeah, I know. But let's not jump, because you're jumping 2 years at a time. I
feel that's what's interesting.
Important.
Yeah, that's what's interesting.
Well, let me decide what's interesting. Okay. So you started, right? You felt like you're doing better than anybody else.
Well,
but this was in the school,
in the
right?
school, yeah. It was just like, I remember it was basic cha-cha, and I was like, hey, I'm doing better than this girl. Why she's in the front, like in front of me. But I obviously didn't have a clue about ballroom dancing. But I just saw the moves, and I like the moves.
Got it. So at what point did you go to a real dance studio? Because this was obviously after your school, school, right?
I think real dance studio was, I would say, after a year or so.
After a year,
I mean, we didn't know better, so there was like a local clubs or after school programs where teachers would teach, and then from there it's kind of like a funnel, right? So you might found yourself a way to go to the bigger dance studio, which is not in a school but somewhere else, you know, like outside. And I think after a 6 months, 7 months, a year or something, I don't remember much, but that's where I found it, and it was I would call it my first home studio. Yeah, I'm still in a good relationships with the owners.
Got it. And how long did you stay there, would you say?
I wanted to stay there forever, to be honest. I remember that. I remember that. At least 2 years, I should say. Maybe less, maybe a year and a half. I mean.
And then you went.
And then it's just that happened because I was. And now we're jumping. So I got introduced to the competition and I got hooked. I remember my first time sweating at the practice. At the practice, yeah. Yes, and then I was competing in one of the national competitions. National competitions, and one of the girls who actually was top 3 or something, she came up to me and said, "Hey, we wanna have a tryout." And because she was from a different studio and she was much stronger, I had to do it. So we had a tryout. Got it. And And she wanted to dance with you. Yes. And at that point, how old you are? I was 13, I believe, because in 14 I won my first national championships. With that girl. My man. So your first partner. Yeah. When you went to the first home club, right? Yeah. You danced with her. You just basically danced with her, starting out, learning. Yeah, I was a kid. I didn't really think much. So about you didn't dancing. Have any. You were introduced with her, with the first partner, to the major competition. With her, yes. And then you dance it, right? I think it was just with that first partner in the first main studio. We went to the competition, and after the competition, I just saw amateurs. Got it. And this is where I got hooked. Got it. This is why I think. So what was your kind of like result in your first competition with her? I don't remember. Terrible, probably. I don't remember really. And at that competition, this other girl saw you, or she saw you in the club? No, she saw me on one of those competitions, because there was one after another. But this first competition, this first national competition, stuck in my memory, and I just even remember everything: picture, smell, sample. Got it. Yeah.
it does it to you, like this first impression and
It
so
does.
on.
Yeah.
So you started with the other partner, and then year later you said you won the first.
Yeah,
After
so when I
dancing 1 year?
switched my partnership, I went to another studio, and there was like a goal, we danced for a year, and before that, when we got on the first competition, right away were nationals, and our first nationals together were terrible. But then I asked her, "Who is the national champ now?"
Yeah.
And she's like, and she pointed out the finger, and I'm
Got
like,
it.
next year I just want to beat them. That's it.
My man.
I was that vicious, and
But you see, I don't know you that way. Like, I know you, like,
Well, I'm
our
very-
interactions and so on, right?
I have to admit, no matter what I do, and my wife Babette, she would confirm that I'm very competitive to the point where I love you, I like you, and I'm gonna help you. But I wanna, when we're on the same floor or when we do the same shit, I wanna
Yeah.
like tear you apart and like.
So you view me as a competition now?
No. What I mean is, no, I'm like, the life is long, and it's not about this really. It's even, for example, right now doing doing videos right now,
Mhm,
competing. See, I'm saying competing, but filming, and we have different very cool guys, very
Yeah.
awesome guys like Clement, like Craig Smith. But I want to dominate the field. I want to help
Got it.
them. We all talk to each other. We'll help each other. But
Yeah.
each one of us, I know we are like competitive, and that's what stimulate us to go. We
Well,
have
of
talks.
course,
We have
yeah.
talks about cameras and lenses. But when we're on the competitions, we like we on.
Got
And
it.
this is I feel very good. It's very healthy. It's very healthy.
Yeah, but it's healthy. What I'm saying is, we had a lot of interactions and conversations, right? But I never, like, I know you like into it, right? But I never felt that you like have this drive, and you pinpoint something and you
It took a while
go,
to admit it.
you know what? This is what I want. This is what it
Took
will
a
be.
while to admit
You know what I
it.
mean?
So when I came to America, lots of things changed. Lots of things shifted into like out of tune, really. And where before I knew what I exactly wanted and how I wanted,
Uh-huh.
it just shifted for many, many years. I would say for
Yeah.
10 years. For me, the period of adjusting in America was terribly long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I should admit a lot of help came from friends, from my wife, in a different ways. But
I really want to go into it, but I don't want to jump 10 years
okay.
ahead.
I will
I don't want to shut you down because I'm
sorry,
so
guys,
interested
if
in
you're
it.
driving and there's 2 traffic lights left before you stop, and we stop the conversation. I'm so sorry. Rewind. No, fast forward.
Fast forward. So you basically said, okay, I want to beat this guy on the competition next year on
Yes,
nationals.
and we did, because we were from the same studio.
with this other guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Got
we are friends. We talked and so on.
Got it.
And I forgot about it. I said it and I forgot about it. And we did.
Did you said it to your partner?
Yes, very
Got it.
viciously so.
I'm
and
gonna
then,
beat this guy.
Yeah, and then next year we
In
did.
Russian accent, I wanna beat this guy.
I'm telling you, I said it in Russian language.
Tell me.
What?
In Russian.
How I said it?
Yeah. Do you remember?
Я его выиграю в следующем году.
For all the Russian-speaking people,
But anyway,
you know what.
But anyway, so we had.
Is it, I will win.
We had a blast because I think I was lucky. We had a multi-generational studio.
Yeah.
And there was home to many great dancers.
Mhm.
Some of them actually dancing right now on the floor in the finals. It's amazing.
In US.
Around the in US and around the floor.
world. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. You know how kindness of your coach makes a big difference. Our
Yeah,
coach,
yeah.
I'm still love him till this day.
What's his name?
Pavlinov Mikhail.
Pavlinov Mikhail. Hello, Pavlinov Mikhail. If you watch
think
this video podcast or listening,
I told him before to his daughters and so on. He created the best childhood for all of us who've been there.
Yeah.
I feel, and I thankful for every drop of his sweat and every yelling he did.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
but anyway,
I feel the same way about my coaches in Slovakia.
I think that makes a big
He
difference.
kept me out of trouble for sure.
I mean,
for sure.
I mean, for us, okay, so I'm just giving you an idea, right?
Yeah.
There were kids from 10, there were kids until 25.
Mhm.
So you know Andrei Bushik, right? Andrei Bushik and Valeria Busheva, they were Russian champions back then. They were dancing for the Belarus as well.
Mhm.
Right now, Andrei is back in Russia. He's, I think, the president of St. Petersburg organization.
Yeah,
Valeria right now,
the area,
she's here in US. She recently came, and the great couple, and they were back in the studio right there. So they were like the highlight. You know, we were practice all together, and I was a kid of 14 years old. So
and you have mixed trainings
and
and
I think
rounds and
that's what made
Of course.
this generation jump.
I believe that
because you see
100%.
it.
Yeah.
When I feel nowadays when people separate too much,
Yeah.
the ages, I think it's terrible.
Yeah, because the young kids looking up to the older
Yes.
kids,
Yes.
and I feel like the older kids, on some levels, they feel that the young kids watching, so they kind of not acting but behaving to their best. I have the feeling.
Well, growing up in a studio, again later on, in Sergei Dumanov and Svetlana Tvernovich in Moscow, called Latinsky Kvartal.
Yeah.
Quartal. So if you know Nikolai Voronovich, he's from there. So he
I
was
want to have him on the podcast as
yeah.
well.
I mean,
Yeah.
He has so many stories, but he's an amazing dude. Him and Maria obviously they just had a second kid.
Yeah. Congrats, guys.
So he was a role model, really. He was this big brother who would organize everybody, you know, and I would always be behind him, like seeing him
like a little tail and
I mean, he was coaching me many times, you know. I was blessed to have lessons when he was visiting Belarus too. So yeah.
So he left Belarus.
Koля was always Kola is from Siberia, so he always was in Moscow. So I left Belarus around 2002, 2003, being in Moscow.
To practice,
I lived very early on. I lived in St. Petersburg 2001. I lived in St. Petersburg for a year and a half, and then I moved back to home and then to Moscow.
Okay, so before we move on to the change of the location and so on. No advertisement breaks. So you won the championship, right?
Yeah.
And then you were what, 14 you said? 13, 14? 14.
Junior 2.
Junior 2. I started as a junior 2 too. You won it, and then it just basically went from there, right? So every competition you went to,
that winter, I decided that's what I want to do.
That's what you want to do for life.
Yeah.
Okay, so we touched on the training in your club, but did you have just those dance trainings, or did you have some ballet? Did you have some stretching?
I hated ballet. I had a physical strength training. So early on, my mom,
as a group class,
in general,
or
I hated ballet in general. Because I felt it too restrictive again.
Mm-hmm.
So I like just ballet. But early on, my mom is, again, another side story. My mom is from martial arts too.
Yeah.
She was actually the world champion. And
I didn't know that either.
She brought me to martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my thing. Or I was again too early introduced to the martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
so I couldn't withhold the training and discipline.
Got it.
But it.
How old were you?
I guess earlier than 10, I mean 5, 6, 7, I should say, and I could.
Was it before the entertainment stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And I could not withhold the training and so on. So, but I remember the discipline and respect they teach you.
Yeah.
So, and I think overall it helped me in ballroom dancing too, because you respect the ballroom, you respect your teachers, you respect what you do, and and so on. And I think that was the biggest push too.
It comes through,
always.
In your personality. I mean, you have certain personality, but it, like what you just told me, it just clicked, because I know you only as a respectful, beautiful guy coming in, saying hello to everybody, you know, and it just connected right now. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now. for me. So, but in the club when you were, obviously you won the national title and so on. How did your training look like
Back then?
Yeah, back then. Yeah.
Not good.
No. I'm not talking about the drama between you and your partner.
No. I'm not. Actually, it's not about, like, there's so many things. So
I'm thinking about,
a little bit side note, okay? A little side note. So me doing Ballroom Backstage, talking to as many people as I can, as many prominent people in our industry, and nowadays being interested in other industries like basketball and so on, and seeing how people practice and how people doing their career. I wish somebody introduced me to it properly when I was a kid. And my career would look very, very different. So, but the only thing I did, I'm telling you what, looking back, I'm telling you what, instinctively I did a lots of things right. When I look at Kobe Bryant, that's what I think. If anybody from dancers want to have something out of this interview, and I would say Google interviews and Google everything about Kobe Bryant, whatever you can find. There's so much. He was kind to share his vision and his training, and I think that if you're a competitive dancer, you must watch this, because that's, I think, what helped me in the last couple of years, even with my videos, to be more resilient, to be more pushy in many ways. But anyway, I did lots of things right back then, instinctively. So I got inspired we went to the first World Championships, and when I was 14, it was Bosnia and Herzegovina right after the war, dude. I mean, it was scary seeing those broken buildings. And I don't know who did this in their mind to send kids after the war there. I mean, this person used to go to jail, really. But this first World Championship inspired me, because this is where I first met Nino Langella. So
he just won the WDO.
I know, but back then it was 2000. He won his world first championships, and me coming from Belarus, didn't have much training, much knowledge. I watched him and I was like, wow, this dude is talented. And I like how he did turns. He could turn like no other. So I came back that summer, and I was by myself in the studio. I had keys from school. There was occasional somebody was practicing, but not much. I was every day in the studio, dude. I was practicing my turns.
Because you were inspired by Nino.
I was inspired by him. I had holes in my shoes. I had three holes in my shoes from spinning. And it was, I think that was, instinctively that was right. I knew that I
putting in the time, the training,
time, and I'm telling you what, next winter came back. No matter with whom I danced, we won again. So there was a big thing. There was a big
but I mean,
change,
you had this drive. Like most of the kids today, like they have parents that bring them. They have no. Like some of them do, but like most of the kids of today, they were like, I'm not into it today, right? They don't have this internal
I'm not
drive,
saying
motivation,
that I wasn't lazy,
No, I'm not saying that, but
I like to play PlayStation, like to go skiing, hang out with my friends, and very often I need to pull myself, or somebody needs to pull me into dancing. But then when I'm there, it was just like a sparkle, and you just go, and I don't remember ever anybody needs to yell at me that I need to dance, really.
Amazing, man. So your world championship, you did your first world championship. And you saw Nino.
We danced. It was Nino, Karpov, and us. So those three people who throughout the years, actually, you
kind of see all the time in the world competitions. And then obviously you were dancing, you were going to all those competitions, you were winning the national titles. Was it in a row? Pretty much, huh?
Yes,
pretty much.
Yes, only a few. 2007, this is when I lost. I was third.
Whoa. And then next year you won again?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually, I'm lying to you, actually. No, next year I was second. The last I did, but in the World Championships, I made a mark. So, again, do you want to jump there?
Let's not.
Okay.
So,
sorry, I'm gonna adjust my mic.
No worries.
Yeah.
So you you were going to these competitions, world championships, obviously national championships, and then how long? At some point on your career, you said you changed the location.
Yes.
Why did you change the location? Was it because of dancing?
Partner and knowledge. Yes, dancing partner.
Okay, so you were dancing with this girl that you won the national title. How long?
1 year.
1 year only.
Yes. A year and a half, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, and then you had another partner in.
Yes, I moved. Well, I have many partners, and lots of them blurring together. But there's a key ones next the main one was in St. Petersburg, and she was older than me. She was youth.
Got it. When you won the national title, you had this partner, and then you were dancing with other partners as well in Belarus.
Yeah. I was changing partners. Yeah.
You were changing partners, but still winning the nationals.
Yes, why not?
Well, why not? Many people need adjustment period and so on, right? Like,
Well,
sometimes...
we never had this mindset. That's the thing. I think it's a nowadays mindset. I need to practice. I mean, I'm laughing sometimes. I mean, not to be disrespectful to anyone, but many people who know me closely, they know how I talk. I'm like, you're fucking professional, and you cannot make a lecture out on the go. Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
So if you're good and you have a drive, sometimes you have not much to lose, especially junior too. You have nothing to lose. You don't need to practice for 5 weeks. We dance. I was creative kid. I did my routines by myself, and in 5 days we could go for a comp.
Yeah. So you changed a lot of partners. So you stayed in Belarus for how long?
I was in and out. So I was, because of school, right? So I cannot just leave the school, and I hated to transfer to another school. So when I moved to St. Petersburg, I was months and a half there. I was come back to Belarus for about 2-3 weeks. Again, and then again going to St. Petersburg, because I wanted to keep all my family helped me to keep the school where I was. Yeah. And the school was the major factor who helped me a lot, because they were encouraging. They knew that I wasn't playing around, I was practicing, so they were helping a lot. They were helping with exams, they were helping with tests, and so I lived this
That's amazing, man.
I'm very thankful to my school, and surprisingly enough, from my bad neighborhood, from my school, there was quite a few national champs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Schools in America, take notes.
Please. No, seriously, I think that's the...
No, but my school as well, like my school, they were very tolerant, because I skipped a lot of Mondays and a lot of Fridays because I was traveling to competitions, right? And then when I skipped the Mondays and Fridays, I just went to my doctor, and my pediatrician, bless her heart, she was amazing. I just showed up on Tuesday morning or Monday if I made it, right? Because we were traveling most of the time. And she goes, "Hi Daniel, how was your competition?" She already knew what I'm doing here, and I'm not sick and so on and so forth. I was like, "Do you need any other papers for the future? Let me know." She was amazing, really amazing. She was like, "Yeah, I'm actually I came with a calendar on Friday this on Monday this date," and amazing.
No, on my
she
side,
was so supportive.
I didn't have to do that. My school was so supportive. Supportive.
This is awesome, man. This is awesome. Yeah. So you were back and forward to Belarus. So you didn't really live there.
Well, I did, and
what at this point, how old are you?
15, 16. Something like this.
Got it. Yeah. So you were doing it for 1.5 years. You said you were in St. Petersburg, right? For 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And you referred to it as 1.5 years going back and forward from Belarus. And
I was learning the dancing there, having this amazing partner, and it was very successful partnership back then, very successful. And
and you still dance for Belarus?
Oh yes, I always did. I always danced for Belarus. At one point I've been called a last patriot, even so I'm consciously an American now. I have an American passport, but I was called the last patriot because it meant a lot for me, really, and to grew up there to compete for this and still represent the same studio for all those years.
That's amazing, man. Amazing. So you went with this partner on and on and on and on. What would you say was your best result with this partner? Because this one is significant, as I understand.
Yeah, so best result, let me remember. So we always had some kind of, like, if you remember, there's a it's not in America, but in Europe we have nowadays we have a Grand Slam. This is the biggest. Back then we didn't have a Grand Slam yet. We have international competition, and then we have just IDSF Open, right? Exactly, so not even WDSF, IDSF Open. So international was the biggest. So, and there was a competition in Belarus.
Listen, you look young, so don't make it sound like, oh, there was not even WDSF.
What I understand. Is the industry changed so much.
I'm just joking with you, man. You know me.
Industry changed so much for the last 10 years. So anyway, it was International Open in Belarus, and lots of great couples were there. Yeah. And us being youth, we won amateur. Yeah. And I remember pissed somebody off so much that the competitor who ended up third broke his cup over the wall. He threw it into the wall.
Really?
He was so disagreeable.
The cup that he won, that he got, the prize. Yeah.
So that was I would say that's
lots of emotion. It's like football or soccer, man.
Obviously, we were national champs and so on. Again, we won a bunch of comps together. I mean,
now you did youth, obviously. Did you ever dance the youth nationals and the amateurs as well? Because I know some youth.
Always.
Okay, so how did it work?
You mean amateur nationals? You're not allowed. No, you're not allowed to.
You're not allowed.
You're only allowed to dance one national, meaning at your age. You're allowed to compete into regular competition.
Got it.
So if
because I know internationally you can enter youth and you can also enter.
Yes, we did all the time.
Enter amateur competitions as well. So I was interested in. Okay, did you dance nationals as well like that? Because it might have been that you actually could have won, right?
I guess so, because at that point we were winning really, but we had a good field. Actually, I'm lying to you. No, we had a good field. Bushik was there. Mm-hmm. Anton Kukareka was there, who is right now in San Francisco, and there's a bunch of other couples who were great. So we had a very good field. I was getting close. I was pushing so much. Again, being competitive, I was just pushing it. Yeah.
Amazing, man. Amazing. We didn't have this kind of conversations. I really love what you're telling me, man.
Well, you're asking about the struggle, so I will something add. Living alone in St. Petersburg wasn't a cake. I'm telling you that. I hated that city.
In St. Petersburg?
Hated every day. Yeah.
Because
people might think, oh, like it's so all the battery smooth. No, because it was a sad city. The weather is suck. First of all, and I promised to my mom that I will not gonna party. So she told me to one thing. So for all the moms who are afraid to let their kids go, she said, "I'm gonna let you go, but you have to think." Whatever you're gonna do, how it's gonna reflect on us if something gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
And that's guided my decisions ever since, So I never partied, never been drunk in my life, never used drugs.
Till now?
Ever.
Oh, we're so different.
Oh, I know. But I'm kind of, should I be proud of this? I don't know, but
you should. I'm just definitely should be proud of it.
Saying that I was working there, and my day was like this. I would wake up early. I would go to the gym. Being Mikita, I was subscribed for a gym membership with a real bodybuilders. I was a very skinny kid.
Yeah.
I was working out with them. I've been accepted to the family of the bodybuilders, and then after that was doing some studying, going for a walk and so on, and then going to practice. And back then I wish I did more practice, because again, this is where being by yourself, like sometimes nobody ever advised me, hey, try practice twice.
Yeah.
I just did gym, and then I did very long practice in the studio. I wish I did 2 practices.
Yeah.
I wish I did 2 practices, on in the studio, let's say, separated for technical and separated for the rounds. Like
exactly.
Or some stuff like this. But that was it,
Yeah, but in dancing, I feel like, well, more now it's going into, right, like the coaches, then you kind of like on your own. It's not like you have a coach and he guides you into, okay, guys, you gotta go to gym.
No, we have to separate it. No. We don't have coaches in ballroom dancing. We have to really separate it. I mean, because I feel people mislead that. They have trainers, they have consultants, I should say.
Exactly, yeah.
And
no, but at that time, what I mean is even the coach didn't tell you, because of, I don't know, lack of knowledge or whatever the feeling was when they were dancing, right, or how they were brought up in dancing. There was no kind of like a, okay, you have this team of people.
Yeah.
One is for fitness, one is for even the mental, preparation, because it's a, let's be honest, sport as well. You gotta be strong, headstrong, right?
Yeah.
You were lucky, you were headstrong, so you were kind of like, yeah, you know what? I beat this guy. I will win, right? And then you have the technical, the dancing part as well, right?
Yeah.
And you can add nutrition if you fancy, but you had 3 kind of major sections of the dancing, and I know my coaches in Slovakia, they were like creating those stretching classes and those ballet classes. They invited hip hop dancers to give us.
In the studio we had that. Yeah, in the studio our coaches always did that. Yeah, it wasn't on that level where looking back, I would love it to be, or as organized. But again, it was.
But I always had a feeling with dancing that you kind of, as a couple, you on your own, and where do you go? Which coaches you take? And but you see, you were saying that you were in the club, and there was a community, and you were
at the beginning. Very early on, I learned that as more you go towards a high level, professional, if you call it professional or the top dancer, you are by yourself, you're on your own. And very early I practiced on my own, alone in the ballroom, very early on.
And what I'm saying is that today, even I see it in Slovakia, they still have these group classes.
Oh,
right?
this is awesome, yeah.
But early on, already in juniors and so on, they're on their own. And what I'm saying is the structure really help the couples, the young kids, to look up to somebody. Like I grew up, like you just said, that we had older kids dancing with us, and it was like you came to rounds and you see the national champion dancing with us, and you look up to it, and you just motivated, you have a drive.
Of course.
Whereas now, like many, even the kids, juniors, right, they on their own with their coach in the ballroom, dancing, and then you have, I guess, as a kid that wants to play, that wants to,
I don't think it's a picture right now. I will disagree a little bit, because I see lots of, here in the United States, popping up lots of great places for kids. Like, for example, next to my home, LA Danceport, they have a great group classes for kids.
Oh, so
all
they
mixed
do.
levels, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I felt it's a great place for them to grow up and do stuff, So plus,
who is running those places?
What do you mean?
Who is teaching? Who is running those places, those kids' places? Russian people?
Yeah. Russian speaking, yeah.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying, right? They probably grew up doing that.
Yeah, but
and dancing,
dancing, it's all of Russian speaking. It's dominated by Russian speaking.
Yeah, but this is what I like especially for kids, that they have like group class, that they're not on their own, but like. I was in other studios and I saw the kids. They coming in for 3 hours, dancing with their coach, right? With the mama is their coach, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they like going and going and going. They have more lessons, so to say. But I saw like, you go in and alone, and it just, go into a group class. And they tried to do group classes, but the level of the kids then was so different, because the other kids came in and they didn't have the private lessons, and they weren't as serious, right? So it
Still
was
think
kind
it's
of
good
like
to throw the kid into that.
no. I understand that, but then the they were just standing around. The good kids, right? The high level kids, they were standing around. It's like, this is boring because I need to,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. So you were in. We derailed a lot. It happens me very.
It's okay.
Well,
I was in St. Petersburg. Then I came home. Then I went to Moscow.
Then you came home because you split with a partner.
Huh?
You came home from St. Petersburg because you split with a partner, or you went straight
yes,
from.
we split with that partner. Not touching even the subject. I mean, it's a long story gone.
We don't need the drama part. I just
no,
wanna...
there was no drama. I mean, as all kids, things change,
Yeah, yeah.
And then
What changed though?
goals.
Your goals
Her.
to her.
She was older. For her decision needs to be made: go to university or do something else with her life. And back then,
And you were what, 16?
I was 16. She was turning 19. So she had to go to university. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So she decided to.
Yeah.
You didn't have like a bad relationship or something.
No, it just ended because she just said
not the usual ballroom stuff.
No. No, and then parents I think helps a lot. So without my parents, I would never be where I am. Without my family, so they found a partner in Moscow. And I tried different studios there, so we came for the tryouts, and it was very interesting.
How did they find a partner?
Back then, it was just starting. Just online was just starting out.
Just starting.
I think it was danceplaza.net or something.
Yeah. I know this. Is it still on?
I don't know. I think so. I think it was the first OG. Website.
Yeah. Dance Plaza. I remember.
Yeah. So there was. So I came to different studios, and interestingly enough, two major studios was back then in Moscow by Nikovsky, Russian club, and by Duvanov.
Nikovsky?
So first one was Nikovsky, it's Russian club, and the second was Duvanov, Latin Quartal. And I'm telling you what, I fell in love with Duvanov studio, with Latin Quartal, from where lots of great dancers are coming. Still.
Why you fell in love with it?
It was. As much as we're all competitive and so on, but it was much more friendly atmosphere with people, with couples. For when Nikovsky was very stuck up, I felt nothing against the dude. He's an amazing coach. But as a kid, I was like, I didn't feel comfortable in the studio. It was cutthroat to the point where I knew from previous experience already as a kid that I will quit. It's not good. They were not gonna grow you as a dancer. It's just a machine. When I came to Duvanov, he was soulful. He looked at me. He's like, well, okay, we will try. So and since then they got me a partner, and I changed a few partners back in his studio. But there was. I would say he's my home coach. I mean, like a mentor whom I look up to for many, many years.
So the main difference was he was looking at you as an individual, versus the other club was like producing couples and cutting.
Couples. It was it was I felt it was a cookie cutter. You can call it that way, but it was just unfriendly. The Duvanov studio was home, like home. You're coming in and you can be there all day. A Russian club was, in comparison, for me, felt cold and distant. Again, nothing wrong. It's work. But
both were in
so
Moscow, and you're referring.
Trash the place.
No worries. You're referring to the Russian club as a Russian club, and the Duvanov
as
club
Latin,
as a
Latin Quartal,
as a Latin quarter.
Yeah.
So they did only Latin?
No, they actually. Funny enough, they had one ballroom couple. He's still dancing. I believe they were finalists.
But Nikovsky is also more Latin, no?
He is pure Latin. Yeah. There was nothing ballroom there.
And did he have ballroom couples in his?
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting. So you went there, and then was the level or the experience different than in St. Petersburg?
Oh yeah, miles, because the Moscow was so much ahead. We had during practice, and this is where my major growth came from, a boost, I should say. They were during the practice, 60, 80, 100 couples at the practice. We have heats, 4, 5, 6 heats at the practice. We had group classes twice a week, and it was just so awesome. I remember that no matter where I lived, I hate Moscow. I hate to be there. I hated every second.
I loved Moscow, man.
See, I hated every second of it, but I love the studio, and until this day, I have a picture of that studio. It was just the warmest place you ever can find for me, and
but still cold in winter.
Oh yeah, actually,
but the warmest place ever.
No, because of the way that everybody practiced, the place was hot. I'm telling you, dude. It was hot.
Yeah,
it was a great place to be.
Yeah, I remember when I went dancing to Russia, I had this partner. She was from the other side of Russia, like by Japan, by China. Yeah. What is the Vladivostok?
Vladivostok, probably. Yeah.
She came all the way to Kaliningrad.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because she split with a partner. She goes, oh, I know some people there. Went there, right?
Wow.
And then we started to dance. I went to Russia, winter. I came in. The snow was like this. We went to sleep. We woke up. The snow was like this.
Yes.
The people, the trucks didn't keep up with the taking away the snow, right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking like this. I came from Switzerland, thin jacket and so on. I was freezing, right? Coming to the studio, freezing, right? But then I warmed up pretty quickly because I was taking lessons with Ilya Danilov.
Okay, I
and I saw Armen Tsaturian
back then. Wow, he was a kiddo probably.
No. He was a
kid.
He was dancing already with Svetlana. And he was already.
So Svetlana was my partner in the one of studio.
Gudino.
Yeah, we were still good friends.
You kidding me?
No, she was my. I would say she was. I have few.
You were dancing with
she's
Svetlana
my brightest
Gudino.
memory out of the partnerships. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was dancing with. What year was that when you came in?
Man, I don't remember. I need to look up my
danced with her in
videos.
2003.
No, she was dancing with him already for
So it was after 2003 or before?
After, for sure. After.
This is when she got
for sure
yeah,
after.
So me and her, we were in youth. We were top 7, in the world. Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. This is a crucial information. Don't withhold crucial information from me.
You never asked,
Because we have other conversations about life, about the universe and stuff, and about movies and film and stuff like that. Man, that's amazing.
It is. The world is small, dude.
Listen, you were my hero, like here. Now you burst the ceiling.
I think it's because of Sveta. She's an amazing girl. She's an amazing person. I love her. She's super
Hello,
kind.
Svetlana Gudino. I hope one day I have you on the podcast. Greetings from Dima, your ex-partner.
Big greetings.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Yeah, so I saw Armen and I'm like, yeah, wow. I was so motivated, man.
I see.
And I had the lessons with Ilya and he's crazy about routines and all this stuff, what Armen does on the floor is and I was fascinated about it and I was so motivated. Anyhow, so I can relate to this feeling, you had when you came to Moscow and find a home place, even though I just went to Russia, to Moscow for 4 days, 5 days, took bunch of lessons and went, so it's slightly different. But I
was in and out too, and to be honest, in Moscow.
So you didn't live there 100%?
No, because again, studio, school, all that stuff. So I had to.
So at that time you were still in studying school.
Yeah. So
how old are you at that moment? So you said you were 16 when you split with this girl in St. Petersburg.
I think I was 17 with Sveta. We danced. I was 17, turning 18. So it was the last year of my youth.
Got it.
Dancing in youth. And,
yeah.
So it was the last final grade. I would say 10, 11. So.
Yeah. And you still dance for Belarus with her as well, and you were national.
Until the last of my career, dance for Belarus. Yeah.
And you won the
with
nationals.
Sveta?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He goes, oh yeah.
With Sveta, yes. We interestingly enough, with Sveta, we did not have a good partnership. Duvanov introduced us, and he wanted us to dance together.
Yeah.
And I did not know what he see in that girl, to be honest, when we met. Even so, right now she's obvious, but I could know. I'm like, she was tiny, little. We did not have any common connection.
Yeah.
But Duvanov promised me that it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So I trusted him. I suffered through almost every practice because we did not have a connection for many years. I'm sorry, not years, for a long time.
Yeah.
Until Herb Wassenberg came to the studio and he started to learn, like, work on a connection, and he gave us kind of a common ground.
Yeah.
So my connection was a little bit more physical. Sveta did not have any.
Yeah.
She didn't used to it. And
she wasn't used to it, or
no, she wasn't used to it. I
yeah.
think with her own partners, they just danced the routine much. She was a great skilled dancer. She was a very talented girl, hardworking girl. Amazing. And but I don't think ever really she needed to, because she was much younger, so she didn't have that time yet
to develop that.
Yeah. So and then Herr Wassenberg came, and we started to work on that connection, and that's where the things clicked, and the things went into shifted into a different gear, really, because then.
How long after you started dancing with her? How long was it?
Uncomfortable period with Sveta was 6 months, dude.
6 months.
Oh my God. Yeah, we knew our routines, we could dance them, but I should tell you, it wasn't like, oh yeah, it's like obvious great. No, I remember summer.
Yeah.
It was winter when we got together, and summer when it got great. When I was like, oh, I feel it right now. It's good, So it's like it started to shift. And I remember the World Championships we had it was in Singapore, 2003. That's where I felt our difference. Everybody expected us to win. We had great results, at least to be top 3. But politically, there were couples in front of us from Denmark, Slovenia. Oddly enough, they quit, and we won them on the next competition.
Man, you just grow in front of my eyes to a hero again, a bigger hero than you were before.
Listen, dude,
amazing, man. I didn't know you were dancing with Sveta. It just still blows my mind, man.
Yeah.
So you were dancing with her after, the uncomfortable period, right? Did you dance your nationals, Belarusian nationals, in your uncomfortable period, or was it already in comfortable period?
You know what? I don't remember really, but I think so. Yeah.
And you still won, even though you didn't feel the connection.
I don't think the juniors too back then was, or youth to that matter, was that there was like, I would say you take 5 people out of the Russia or country, who were great. The rest didn't have a knowledge, ethics.
Especially in youth, yeah.
Nowadays the youth is different because they're training them differently. They kind of have a different understanding, so you have a better skill level.
It evolved,
but I think they're still kids. They still don't have ethics. They still don't have. When you look at the finals now, right?
Yeah.
So same actually happened. The same thing. Which I thought should change with appearance of YouTube and so much of the knowledge, but it didn't. So for us, winning nationals were in a way easy.
Yeah.
Looking back, but being on other international competitions wasn't. We had lots of setbacks on the international. I wasn't that mentally good. I wasn't that stable.
Yeah.
I could dance first round great, second round terrible.
Yeah.
And then it was getting better throughout. So Sveta was insisting, and mostly her parents, that we danced Russian competition. So this is where we had a marathon of week after week, 2-3 competitions a weekend in Moscow. And I remember this was like we didn't have time to practice. We just on a competition.
So it was Russian competition, not international. Some of them were though.
So there were a period of time. So we just danced a Russian competition just for practice. And this is where this period of uncomfortability, and this is where after 6 months it became comfortable, and we started to break out.
Would you say this helped you accelerate or shorten the uncomfortable time period? A lot of competitions.
What it helped me with is mental and being not afraid of competitions.
So you were afraid of competitions?
Well, every kid mentally get nervous.
Yeah.
So I don't know any kid who is like, hey, I'm gonna go and just I'm
just
gonna have a great
perform.
time.
And
You have nervousness, but this taught me kind of to be brave because everybody's around you. Like you take everybody. Back then, even Koля Varnovich, I mean, we danced on the same floor. Being different ages, and so on. So
he being your teacher and
so we still you still compete, you're still fighting for the floor, pushing each other. So it's it helps you. It helps you so much to establish yourself mentally in that, because I feel no matter how much you practice.
So within those 6 months period,
mental space, huh?
Within the 6 month periods. Sorry, I interrupt you. I'm so interested in this. In the 6 month period, how many competition would you say you danced?
I don't know, maybe 80.
80.
It was 2-3 competitions a weekend, because in Moscow already was that big, to the point where you have 2 competitions a weekend, sometimes 3.
Wow.
They were small, meaning 40 couples.
Yeah, that's small for Russia.
That's small for Russia. Yeah. But they would be in different part of it, and Moscow being that big, different parts of the competition. But then there would be like one giant competition, somewhere in that ballpark. So
Crocus or wherever.
Back then there was no Crocus. Dude.
No Crocus yet.
Back then it was like the biggest one, I think, was like a Winter Ball or something, or Russian
Open.
Russian Open, which I hated it. It
Why?
was so cold, dude. I mean, it's just you're standing like a kettle in this, 20 rounds, 20 heats, waiting for your cha-cha, and freezing and
you
so
basically need to warm up for every dance in the first round.
So cold.
Yeah.
But
similar to German Open. Well, not as much, but
I like German Open more, dude. But anyway, dancing so many competitions give you a different mental level. So you kind of, because practice is one thing, competing is entirely different.
So would you say your mental state wasn't very good because of what?
No, maybe it was
not mental state, but like your nerves. Like, did you?
It wasn't really nerves. I was a kid who liked to perform. Still do.
Okay.
I still love the dance floor, missing it.
So what was the nerves about?
There's a difference being a fish in the water, and there's a difference being a dolphin in the circus in that water. So I've been a fish in the water, but I've never been a dolphin in that circus.
Got it.
So I couldn't do tricks. I needed to be able to be comfortable to perform the technique needed. I needed to be able to compete. To make your technique and your knowledge and bring it to the dance floor. Because as you know yourself, certain part will stay in that practice room.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So
so the performance part of it,
part flew through the roof. So
got it.
I don't remember the results. Obviously, finals, maybe top 3, whatever. I don't remember. There were so many. And some of them were terrible. Some of them were great. But doing that,
it
brings you to the different level. People, you getting seen by people. You're exposed to different environments. And so on.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. Obviously, we don't talk dancing all the time.
Yeah, we don't talk dancing.
Wow, it's blowing my mind, man. Blowing my mind.
But you know what? I'm telling you what. Nothing compares to the World Championships. Nothing.
Because
sorry, guys.
No worries.
I'm recovering from the
just regular flu, not
regular flu. Actually, I have since I moved to US. Chronic sinuses. Anyway, nothing compared to the World Championships.
Because
pressure, dude.
Pressure. Yeah.
Pressure of your country. Pressure of carrying the flag. No matter what country you're from.
Of course.
You can be from Zimbabwe, it's still pressure. It's so defining who you are. You think, we all great. Everybody's great there, and everybody's there to compete and to win. And it's just you look at the competitions. You never look the same to the competitions. I feel for me. Back then, when two federations were kind of together, nothing compares to any other comp. The World Championships was that mental state where you have to be.
Got it.
And
then, so you were
not to compete.
Well, obviously. But did you come into terms of the performance? Like after, did you translate it to the World Championships, like all those competitions
With Sveta, yes. With Sveta was our World Championships was so strong. I mean, really so strong. I mean, if you look back at our marks and so on, I still remember.
Do you have some videos of it? I want to see.
Actually,
it,
unfortunately, that's the thing. That's a problem was back then with with Asia, especially in the United States. I don't have any videos. I
would love to see some videos.
Somewhere a small picture like of us standing with a flag. That's it. I mean, unfortunately.
No, but from any competition you dance with Sveta, you don't have any videos.
I do, but it's somewhere on a VHS, somewhere back in Belarus.
Can you please, mom, please, can you send the VHS to US
but
so
I think
I can
if there is a VHS, it's probably of our very beginning, not even our middle somewhere.
Doesn't matter. I just want to see it, man. This is like
I have to ask.
high value. This is like those Japan. I mean the Tokyo. What is it? Dance Legends? No, Dance Legends.
The World Dance Superstars Festival.
Yeah, Superstars Festival. I remember I watched this VHS tapes.
Oh, everybody
and I'm like,
did. Everybody.
Right?
My parents bought I bought a DVD from whatever 2000. And they bought.
But that was already
DVD player for they bought a DVD player for that because it always was. Because it was the first DVD came out with this, so they bought DVD player for just for that.
Wow, man!
Yeah,
that's amazing. So, how long you dance with Sveta?
A year.
1 year only.
Yeah.
And you
maybe
dance,
maybe a little bit more. Maybe.
And you probably dance more competition with her than with all the partner combined.
No. My latest partner before I moved to United States.
Yeah.
It's been longest.
The longest partner.
Yeah, and it was hardest.
So how long you dance with the last partner in Europe before you moved?
Since 2004 till 2005 till 2010, at least 5 years.
5 years.
5, 6 years. Yeah.
5 years.
I'm sorry. I'm very vague on
Don't worry.
on dates.
Don't worry. We'll figure it out. I don't. So 5 years, and at that point you were 19. Because when you started with Svetlana, you were 16, 17, you said?
So then I switched to another. I had a couple of partners. I had a very deep period. After Sveta, I had a very great partner, Anna Ginko. She was dancing with Smagin before. She was a top girl.
Yeah.
That's with her we won almost every amateur comp in 2004.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. We just been winning everything. Just coming out of the youth, we were in a World Cup final. I mean, every year World Cup final. I mean, just like booming. But we didn't go well as teenagers together, so we split after.
You were arguing a lot, or?
Yes, I found she was a very difficult person.
Might have gone both ways. Well, you just didn't meet. Come on.
No,
I understand what you
So anyway, it's no blaming on her, obviously, but I've been difficult too. So.
You had difficulties to find.
But anyway,
that was
a very quick, very sparkling period.
Yeah.
And then I found my partner back in Belarus. Don't have to travel anywhere. She was younger than me, 5 years younger.
What's her name?
Yulia.
Yulia who?
Yulia Zhilko.
I have no clue.
She's back in Belarus. Yeah, she's having a nice family. She have a studio.
Yeah.
But back
Hello,
then,
Yulia.
But back then, when we got together, she was just starting out, and I had a very big dip in my career because I couldn't find a partner. I don't know.
And she was starting out. What do you mean starting out?
Like she was in a way on a level, not even a national final.
Got it.
So and she was younger, so she would have to dance adult when she is still youth.
Yeah, got it.
So there was a little bit challenge.
What was the reason you stepped into it? Like that you decided to dance?
I wanted
with her?
something stable. I got tired of chasing a perfect partner, a perfect girl, because it's very quickly disintegrates. I felt I did that, and every single time I thought, Svetlana was awesome, but then something didn't work out between the parents. Like, okay, done. Then and another person was Anna, the character. She was a great girl. Everybody loved her, but it was a torture.
Yeah. For you personally.
For me personally, it was torture. Next, So then. And there's like before that. So then we got Yulia, and we kind of she was very calm. And we kind of like tried out a little bit, and I was like, okay, so maybe that's it. And believe it or not, our results for a year or two were just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, to the point where everybody like, I remember you were great. And this is the best thing
shit.
somebody can tell you, right? Like, I remember
man.
you were great. And this is where like, oh shit, yeah, I'm going on down the wrong very
well
wrong
they
path.
didn't finish the sentence, right? You were great, now you shit.
Yes. So
They just didn't finish,
it
right?
took us.
How did it make you feel? Like, did you?
Oh, terrible.
I mean, obviously 2 years you were doing
I'm
that.
not really big on criticism. I'm not really taking that much. So only certain things can take me. But even if they take me, I would never say. You would never know. Back then, my only answer was I wanted to do it. I love dancing and love dancing with my friends, and we
in
were,
the club where you practiced and
so
stuff. Yeah.
There was much more things were happening. I was getting much more older.
Uh-huh.
So, and I wanted to organize something where we all can practice from different studios, because back then the studios were arguing, but dancers weren't. So we would find a neutral ground to practice.
Got it.
And I would invite my friends, and we would hold lectures for each other, and we would practice.
That's so cool.
What right now you see what people do is live orchestra or lights.
Yeah.
We did it before it was even born. We just got together, we were friendly, and so on. Different generation, different couples, different
Awesome,
studios. It was so good, and that was one of the another push in our career.
Yeah.
Mine and hers, because she saw that not everybody's hostile, everybody's fun, and so on.
Yeah. So she had mental stuff going on too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, come on. She was younger. If it was hard for me, I cannot believe how it was hard for her.
Yeah. Got it.
Like as a younger person, as a girl, there was so much pressure onto her. Coming from.
So did you win a national title with her in adults, or?
Oh yes, we did. We have a couple of titles on our belt. Actually, funny enough, we won our first year right away, but then we had a dip. So, and then coming back to our last 3 years were very successful. Like when she kind of found herself, came of ages, and in our final World Championships in 2010, which was in New York, where two federations were together still for the last year.
Yeah, for the last time. Yeah.
We were first time in 15 years. First time was in the top 24. In amateurs.
Wow.
And back then
that's huge.
So guys, you would understand, top 24 doesn't sound much, but back then top 24 meant a lot in 2010.
It was packed.
It meant the world, and
it was packed with great dancers.
Where even Dumanov told me, Dima, you're never gonna be in a quarterfinal because you're from the wrong country. You know, like it's
wrong
just
country.
Yeah. So and then.
Even in dancing,
being for the first time in 15 years, it was a great feeling, dude. I cannot, and that was our goal together. And I remember when we got it, we look at each other, could not believe. We're like, we did it.
We did it.
What's next? Just go dance it,
Yeah, got it.
So we had this kind of dip. It was a beautiful partnership, though. Beautiful.
Did you dance differently
with her?
Knowing no on the World Championship when you got the quarterfinal?
Yeah. No, I danced the same.
You danced the same. It wasn't like filled with more feeling.
No, it was the same. So we were, again, coming back a little bit to practicing by yourselves.
Yeah.
At that point, we were older. I outgrew lots of people in a studio. Obviously, studio kind of always stays in the same molding. Mm-hmm. So we had practices. We were traveling to Russia, So we had like a kind of semi-pro approach to our dancing. We practicing on our own. We started to film ourselves.
Yeah.
And we had a training partner. We had a couple, Igor and Nastya. They're actually right now living in the United States. we had a training partner, so we had a training couple.
Got it.
So we had all the rounds we got together, or in our group of people, independent couples from different.
You organized,
like Alex Studios, but then we had 2 practices a day. Back then, we started to film ourselves pieces. We had a note. We had tasks from the coach, from Divanov. Even so, we saw him, let's say, once a month, but I had a task from him what to do, and that's where, when we came answering your question, was it filled with a flair? No, it wasn't. It was the same. It was a professional dancing together.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. Dancing together on the floor. So we, from the first round to the last round, we had a task. Till the task, what we need to do.
Yeah.
And that was our goal. So we enjoyed. We had, but it wasn't like, oh, I made a quarter. It was like we had a job to do.
Gotcha.
Like, so it wasn't stopping right there. And then, what the interesting part was, when we got there, I looked at the semi, I looked at the final, I'm like, well, final is not as difficult. When you saw the 24 was difficult and it was your goal, and you're like, final is not as different. Because you look at yourself differently, look at your dancing, not from a quirky point of view, but not from a confident even point of view. But from
you
a point
see,
of
like,
view it's possible.
There's some milestones you're doing, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And you set the goals in 24, and then you got it, and then you go like, so I'm able to, let's set a higher goal.
It wasn't even a set a higher goal. It was like,
or just the realization watching
like
it.
Like the final is right there. It's not as difficult. It's not even a goal. It's just like, I can do it now. It's like it's here.
Yeah.
Like, and that was interesting. I would say the most interesting moment out of my career, when you're realizing you was looking for the 24, and I mean, like, final, it's easy.
Got it. So, what finished your career with Yulia? You said the last World Championship you danced
political
in New York.
situation, I should say. I mean, we have lucky countries and we have unlucky countries. What's right now happening between Russia and Ukraine and Belarus, it's terrible. And back then, in Belarus is a very poor country.
Yeah.
So the reason why I feel the reason why some countries or some nations dancing better or worse is not the talent, is money, possibilities and money.
Yeah.
So where everybody could travel to England, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Where everybody could travel, to German Open, we couldn't, or China, we couldn't.
Yeah.
So there was a lots of stuff. However, I felt as a national champ, I had work, top 24. I started to get invited to Europe and so on. But then I felt that it couldn't last long. I kind of looked for the future. I'm like, it couldn't last long. There's new people are coming. So either there's so much of you can do. There's your path, right? So, and I'm like, I want to try.
You kind of restricted in terms of where you can go and reach, right? So your path is kind of laid out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is it.
It was a great path, but I knew in Belarus, if next crisis comes, money crisis, people will stop taking lessons. That's it. So I'm like, okay, that's not gonna go. I want to try something else. And America was something I was talking about for quite a bit, and just circumstances happen. And we got invited to to go to America.
With Yulia?
Yes.
Got it.
And I'm a very difficult person to be.
Now we come into the transition you mentioned in the beginning.
Yes.
I didn't want to go into it, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
We started to argue. I don't remember what was happening, but I again.
Even though you didn't argue before. Even though you didn't argue before.
Well,
I mean, you said
on part of dancing, again, I wish I would work, again, for all the dancers, watch Kobe Bryant, and as a partnership, have some mental training, have some psychology training with sports psychology, how to work as a team.
Yeah.
because very often the partnership grows into something really wrong. Even if you have a relationships, I wish we worked with a team sport psychologist who would tell you, hey guys, this is how you should approach it.
Got it.
Because the problems really was very simple, but we didn't knew. Nobody back then knew. Only now, look, there's Ruud Vermeer, right? He was starting out back then, but it wasn't really popular back then. So we started to argue. I don't remember even why. So she bailed out. She didn't want to go. Even so, it was for 1 year to try. She didn't want to go. So all my plans.
She ended up not going at all.
Not going. We had all the paperwork, everything. We ended up not going, and broke my heart, broke my plans. And
you were together as well?
Yeah.
Got it.
So broke actually the idea of what I want to build. Again, my bad. That's where it came to an end. I came to America to try.
You came with broken heart to live your American dream.
Yes.
Okay, so you came to which city? You came to LA right away, or
no, New York area, into Connecticut actually.
Connecticut.
To Fred Astaire dance studio.
Ah, Fred Astaire.
Yes.
So you started in Fred Astaire.
Yes, sir.
All the training, how to teach people and so on.
That was very different. This is where I'm like, especially me being by myself, I was shocked. I was like, no, that's not for me.
Okay, so you right away noticed, okay, this is not what I want to do. Yeah,
when I came, because I guess if I would came together and so on, things would be very different. But because I came, by myself, it was just not it was a wrong place, and a really wrong time.
Wrong time.
Yeah.
Got it. So how long you lasted in Fred Astaire?
10 months.
10 months. Okay, and then where did you change into?
I was ready to quit and move away, but time flies.
Move away, like
back home.
Yeah. So you were so disappointed what
I did
the dance world, or
not what I expected, and so I started to look for a partner, and then I met Babette. And then
got it.
And then
where did you meet Babette?
In Fred Astaire.
In that same Fred Astaire?
No, not in studio. It wasn't a Fred Astaire regional competition. She was judging it, and I was dancing it.
Ah, and then you looked like, oh, hello.
Well, I liked her a lot. Yeah, she looked like a princess, and that was very nice. I remember meeting her for the first time. I'm sorry, I just coughed.
No worries.
Meeting her for the first time. It was super fun, but then we didn't see each other. So we met, we exchanged phone numbers, but then we didn't see each other until few months passed.
Yeah, and it was
2011.
11.
Yeah,
so you
I remember.
That you remember, my man. So you were what, 25? 5.
Yeah.
A young fella coming to America to live his dream. I love it, man. I love it. So, and then what happened? So you were working 10 months in this Fred Astaire, and then one of the competition you met Babette.
Yeah.
Then you quit.
Well, this is a different story probably for the different time, because when we got together, we met, everything was going very fast. So we very fast started to live together, because for me it was a choice, either coming back or to try to be together.
Yeah.
So we tried to be together because I quit my job. So she's the one actually who helped me a lot with papers and so on. Her and my lawyer. So they worked together fantastically to keep me in that country, and
got it.
Yeah, so she was.
So there was also pressure of documents, right? Like
always, yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, so you stopped working for the Fred Astaire. What did you do in the meantime?
So Babette had 2 studios in Fred Astaire. In the meantime, I moved in with her, and for quite some time we keep it quiet that I was in the country, because Fred Astaire is not really eco-friendly to people who fall in love. At least back then.
Yeah.
So I can understand the business side right now, and what happened is I was very quiet. I was coaching in the studio a little bit, And then from there, when we opened up our relationships, unfortunately shit hit the fan, and they weren't happy. So we had to leave Fred Astaire. Long story short, we had to leave Fred Astaire, and we moved here
to LA.
Yeah. So now I do what I do.
So she closed down both of her studios.
She sold them.
She sold them,
and to the people who were working there, and we moved together here.
Got it.
And this is the transition period.
At what
Backstage started, by the way.
I wanna hear all about it, because it's really very, very tempting and interesting. So at what point did you dance the Worlds of the Fred Astaire, where you were second with Babette?
2012 or 13.
So after
12 or 13, something like that.
So you dance professionally as well?
Yes.
Regular competitions as well?
In America with Babette, very briefly, because she had a bad injury onto her neck, but we both did not know how severe that was.
Got it.
I'm sorry.
And you still dance despite the injury, or she was danced, recovering?
We danced. We didn't know how severe, but the practices were we practiced twice a day.
Yeah.
We were mental. I mean, we went full
crazy about dancing, going. Yeah.
Plus her being, having a studio, so we had places to dance.
Work, to dance, to practice.
And so we were driven when we're coming up to 2013 World Championships at Embassy in Latin. And
a regular one, not the Fred Astaire one, or was it
WDC?
WDC, yeah.
And we're standing there, and I remember she's saying, "I can feel my leg."
Oh,
and this is where we had to stop.
So you stopped the competition.
We took off. Yeah, she couldn't. We have somewhere the videos, but I can see that her leg was bothering her, and so on.
Yeah.
We danced a couple of shows since then. We danced quite a few, actually, in a few competitions. And it was great, but then we had to make a decision because of her back.
Yeah, and obviously you did Pro-Am. You started to do Pro-Am when you came to US, and
yeah, I do Pro-Am. Actually, I love it now.
You love it now. You didn't like it though.
No, when I came, I was like, "What the hell is that?
What the hell is that? I'm dancing with the student. I'm used to high level stuff." Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I came. I came in the wrong time, in the wrong place. It was just.
Okay, tell me about your transformation. You said you had a. Before we go to the backstage, how it was born and so on, I just want to touch on. You mentioned you went through a big transformation.
You mean
in what regard?
In USA?
In USA, yeah, you were mentioning in the beginning of our interview that you were.
I did not know anything except of dancing. Nothing. Like my whole life, I was so focused on dancing that I don't know. I could be proud of it. Somebody can say it's very stupid, but as an athlete, as a dancer, I was so focused on dancing that nothing else matters to me.
Got it.
I started by the end. 2010, I started to look out a little bit what's there else.
Yeah.
But it was just there. So coming to America, I didn't know anything. For example, I didn't know when I came to America that the building could be owned by a person. I thought only government can own the building. I didn't know that the railroads could be privately owned. I mean, there's so many things which
about life in general.
I was just a dancer. I mean, call it however you want, stupid dancer or dancer. I was just that. And
you lived and breathed dancing, so
and on that, my transformation started because I started to read a lot. I started to listen a lot, and the whole mentality started to shift. With Babette introducing me to different cultures, to different knowledge, to everything really. You name it.
Well, you were mentioning that you were difficult.
I am difficult.
Oh, you're still difficult.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't find you difficult though. Every interaction we have is like so easy and pleasant.
There's certain things you easygoing, but there's certain things you're really particular about.
Which is what?
If you take how we do video business, this is where it could be difficult. Like I would insist on certain things.
For a fact, for all the listeners and viewers. I know that for a fact because I'm learning from him, and he's very particular in his job, which I love, because then I go like, oh, this looks better. Oh
but
man,
take
this
this,
looks
but
better.
take this
Yeah.
when you go into regular like life. So me being very stubborn, Babette being very stubborn. So
Yeah.
we've been. I would say people were saying we're very similar in
Got
a
it.
bad way because we're very stubborn.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of arguments, and
Uh-huh.
I would say this is where I'm very difficult. Like I
Got it.
wouldn't budge. I would believe in my point of view, and I wouldn't budge. I guess that's what makes us the artists, what makes us the dancers.
And you having a vision and going for it,
Yeah.
it's very good for certain things, I guess.
I guess so. Listen, yes and no.
I mean, you're so successful with this Ballroom Backstage.
I consider myself an artist.
Right.
I consider myself an artist. Some people say, like you can consider them. He's in entrepreneur first. He's an artist second.
Yeah.
I would say no matter what I do, I'm an artist first. Vision as an artist. You can, working with my friend, with Craig Smith, who's on many events by now, who owns his own video company too.
Yeah.
He even told me like many times, dude, you're a great artist. You're horrible with people. So
You're horrible with people.
working with them, yeah, because I am
Working with them, not interviewing them.
No. Again,
we gotta be specific because
I don't mean it. I don't mean it. But when I in my job, very often I'm very direct and strict in terms of like what I. But to myself, I'm not expecting. Let's say if we work together on a show,
Yeah.
I don't expect anything from you that I would do myself.
Yeah.
Like let's say take the most I call it a hell week. Take USDC, a hell week of USDC. It's 5 days of interviews, of shows, of video editing.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
You're running on the latest gear.
And ladies and gentlemen, while he's doing that, he also dances the competition.
Well,
which is insane. Sometimes, not always,
often,
but
very often, yeah.
very often, yeah. So it's
not
like
USDC though, because USDC it's just insane. So I'm sorry, I'm even chewing the gum.
it's okay. Listen, this is a relaxed situation here, so we all good.
Well, somebody's listening
take
to
a
my
break.
chewing in a
matter.
in a high system in a car,
Doesn't matter.
surround chewing sound.
It's a natural thing.
So anyway, working for example at USDC.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just give you an example. How am I difficult? I would drive people nuts the way I want to angle, the way I want to light, the way I want everything. And
okay, do you hire people for yourself, or
No.
they just working at the competition?
So Craig, for example, Craig has his company, right?
Yeah.
We talk with him what people we would like to have because he has his crew, right?
Got it.
And I would say he's best at it in hiring people and so on. And I wouldn't be good, but with them very often I could be very direct.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean anything bad, like how would you say that your camera is shaking? How would you say, or keep it more steady? And so, but I would say this latest USDC, all the crew which we worked through, were working on the highest gear. I mean, it was just impeccable. I could not say that anybody did a bad job. Everybody was like working so hard, and this was just where I felt in a zone. Like I didn't have to talk even to anyone. Everybody were on the same page.
Yeah. Because they worked with you many times and they knew you pain in the ass.
We already worked together because I could be like so particular, juju. But then
Well, I know that. I experienced it with you.
Well, listen, if you're responsible for the result.
No, I mean, we worked together because we did the intro for my book, right?
Yeah.
And, that's a good place for advertisement. No, I'm joking.
Yes, we did a video for this book, yeah.
Yeah, for the book. But I appreciated because I gave you some pointers and this and that. It's like, Daniel, don't worry, I got you, right?
No, but you're on the talent side. I'm talking about on a working side, let's say.
No, but what I want to say to you that I liked that you went into like, listen, I know what I'm doing. You gave me your vision. I got you with camera and this and that. you didn't go to explain to me. You just say, Daniel, it will be fine, don't worry. And I'm looking at you, and you like running around and doing stuff,
Because
and I'm like,
you, okay, so it would be very different. I work with some people where they try to tell me how it should look like.
Yeah.
Knowing me how much I film and knowing them how much they film.
Yeah.
In a point, I have to tell, you're an idiot. It's never gonna work.
Got it.
And I would ask why, and I would say like, listen, if I have to explain you why, and you asking me why, I mean you don't know jack shit. So you better shut the fuck up and do how I say.
Wow, dead direct.
That bad. Because
got it.
When we're on a set, every minute counts really. When you're on a competition, every minute
of course,
counts. And when somebody
because you have
comes to you and trying to, I'm sorry for the language, busting your balls and saying, hey, I kind of know how it's gonna be. I'm like, you hired me to do the job, to make it look a certain way, to like, I'm giving you security and experience. Yeah. But you're trying to tell me how it's supposed to be, and you 20 minutes ago you didn't know how, and now you're an expert.
Gotcha.
Like, so those people, I would be very difficult.
And very also, you have certain windows of time on those competitions. They cannot rewind and go like in the movies, right? Like if something doesn't work, you cannot go back and go cut.
No.
Reset, often, right?
So why, for example, taking this USDC or previous ones? This USDC was the most successful one because people who I worked with, and people who me and Craig together decided to be on camera or off camera. For example, Babette was on camera host for most of the interviews at the USDC instead of me. Yeah. I maybe hosted maybe 3 or 4.
Gotcha.
Because I did so much of back jobs in terms of camera operating, being a DP. Helping Craig, he's helping me. So, and gathering all the stuff for the Ballroom Backstage. She never asked any more questions because she worked with me so many times.
She knew what's going on. Yeah.
But the first years, she would ask questions, and they would piss me off, and we would argue because I'm like, you have no idea how it works. You have no idea how it works on the back end. Like, can you edit? No. So shut the fuck up and do your job. We had those conversations because. So right now, this is where I'm difficult. So people who work with me now, I hope they 100% trust me with where it's going. They don't ask, they already don't ask questions because they see the result.
They know.
Like, okay, that's if he says it, that's going to be delivered.
Got it.
So that's kind of it.
So this is how you're difficult. So you're the Steve Jobs of ballroom dancing, perfection.
I would compare myself to those people. I would not compare it to myself to them.
No, man, you're pretty good.
Well,
and what I want to say is you learned everything. You didn't do like a film school or anything. It was just your interest, your hobby, and you just learned by yourself, like everything, right? Everything, right? And I'm seeing it now, like I'm doing like baby steps to editing, right?
Oh, that's how we started, baby steps.
Yeah. But I saw you in action, how you editing, and I saw your
Daniel, me and all my friends. Corrects me. So the Clement, I think our greatest leaps in production were in the last 2 years because it's knowledge accumulated so much.
And how long you doing it?
I say Ballroom Backstage started probably in 14. If we
so 6
anyway, I started to film when I was back in Belarus.
Got it.
But Ballroom Backstage per se, on the competition started. I would
so you already you were filming in Belarus already
on borrowed camera,
Man,
I was
so it was your interest since
I fell in love.
What age?
23.
23.
I fell in love with it because I wanted to. Because again, we had that society called free dance team between couples from different studios who practice together. So we wanted to do something for ourselves.
This is how it started.
So we started to I started like, hey, I want to take a camera and take a video about you so you will remember yourself. And it was literally memories. So we started to do that.
Wow, man, that's interesting.
It grew into something else later on a national level.
In Belarus.
But then when I left, I knew I wanted to film. I knew I wanted to do something with it, and we bought a camera. And on one competition, Babette was judging. I was bored.
Yeah.
I was like, what can I do useful at this event? I pick up the camera, pick up my iPhone, started doing interviews. That's it.
That's awesome, man.
He was in Georgia, by the way.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So how this whole backstage thing came together? So you said, okay, this was literally the beginning, but you didn't have a name. You didn't have. You were just bored.
I didn't know. It was Ballroom Backstage, Ballroom, Ballroom Talk News, whatever. We tried different stuff. Now it's Ballroom Backstage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And super successful. Listeners, viewers, if you never danced before, or you are a dancer, or you know ballroom dancing a little bit, Ballroom Backstage. Where do we find Ballroom Backstage? Everywhere.
YouTube, Facebook,
and Instagram.
I do
Ballroom
very little
Backstage
outlets because it's so much of information, and everywhere, like on Instagram, it's a one type of info.
Yeah.
Like mostly dancing.
Yeah.
YouTube is interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is an entirely different beast.
Got it.
Like, and so now we talking with Craig to kind of merge together because we doing together productions, right? So
got it.
I'm working with him being another angle.
Yeah.
We created the system where the camera is not static anymore.
Got it.
Camera is floating, so we have two floating cameras.
Nice.
It's just insane what we do, and
where it got to, right? Because I mean, I'm doing my podcast. It's obviously different form of.
It's different form, dude. We're talking about competition. Yeah. We're talking about behind the scenes. Yeah. We're talking about on stage.
But you know, being said, you started with stationary camera. You started with one angle. You started with phone,
but
being a microphone.
I knew that I want to move the camera. I knew that when I started to film artistic.
Yeah, of course,
stuff.
Yeah.
And when I started to film, I'm sorry.
No worries.
When I started to film the artistic stuff, there was no gimbals. The first gimbal where ever came out was Movi. It was $14,000 or $16,000 on that money. It was 2016, 15.
Yeah.
And then they started to copy it, and then for like $2,000 or $2.50, I bought myself a mock-up of that. It was gimbal DJI Ronin M. I still own that thing. I still love it. It was my long-standing gimbal, and this is where my game changed so much. I started to do that. This is where it went into Hollywood level. You know, like where you see dancers coming out of the cars. You know, coming all the Arrival shows are like, we can do Arrivals, and we would like all the behind the scenes with Arrivals and dressing.
Yeah, we had these conversations. Yeah, about your, you know, technique, visions, and so on. And
so I always wanted to move the camera, and the gimbal definitely helped. So yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
So obviously you still do Pro-Am, right?
I love Pro-Am.
At this time,
I do Pro-Am.
You teach and you do Pro-Am as well, and I mean, your work, video work, is just phenomenal.
Well, you know, I just want to put something out so people don't misunderstand. It's a suffering, it's a struggle, same like competitive dancing.
This is what I'm going into, and it's phenomenal, right? Like you really, I mean, you spend hours and hours editing, hours and hours. Like I saw you, like when I came for advice for video and I visited you at your home, and you were at that time you were editing the I believe Emerald.
I don't remember.
Probably. I mean, he has so many projects, but on the screen I remember you were showing me something in your software, because I came to you to learn something because I wanted to have something.
I don't remember what.
And you were editing Wank.
Oh, okay. I think
USDC
video,
USDC video, yes. And it just blew my mind, because I was like, how do you keep track of, you know, all of this thing? And it's like, Daniel, it's just, you know how many mistakes I made and this and that. And you always, when we talked about as you said, was suffering in terms of its hours of editing. Like people, even when, you know, we talked about what you charge and so on, because I wanted to work with you and stuff, and you were just telling me, like, people don't realize when I say the price that it's on the verge of me breaking even with the
Very
amount of
often,
hours.
Now I change that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, at the Ballroom Backstage is still on a breaking even point, because Ballroom Backstage is passion project more than anything, but it's, you know, it has to be survivable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna die.
Of course.
But I changed very much. So I'm running the full scale production video business. So I did, if you know, Colo Dance Show.
Yeah.
I did the latest commercial for them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the level, I would say, of me as a people who is producing videos, making videos, has changed drastically.
Yeah.
As an artist too. Because we have to charge a lot to be able to produce better videos. To have better gear.
Look at Mr. Biz on YouTube, man. All the money he gets, he puts back into videos, and his production is amazing, right?
You have to.
So, and we talked about those prices, and you were like, yeah, I need to charge this amount, but then also I don't want to run out of work. So you were in this, not now, but like in the time when we were talking about it, you were in kind of like back and forward, like, okay, I need to charge this, but people, you know, saving money.
Yeah, we're talking about dancing.
Dancing, right. So, what is next for you? What do you plan for the future?
I'm a dog running with a bone. I don't know. Well,
what is next on your horizon? Obviously, videos production is going
deeper into everything. Let's say, again, like I said, for dance business, we're thinking, me and Craig thinking what it will be, how it's gonna look like if we're gonna merge, because together we're doing. And he's doing one of.
Is it not a secret yet? Still?
No.
Okay, good.
I have no secrets.
About the merging
we're
process.
Thinking about it. We just talked about it. I'm like, we're just throwing the thought, like how it's gonna look like, because
got it.
When we do productions together, I do behind the scenes. So ideally, we want to have a lifestyle network about dancing. So when you can tune in and just watch different content, right?
Yeah.
But with anything else, with video production, is going deeper. I'm learning more stuff. I'm doing more stuff. Learning more stuff. For example, there was a period I was learning more about lenses, filters for lenses.
Yeah.
Right now, going drastically into color grading and learning deeper every aspect.
Just the quality of it, right? What makes it?
So a little bit. So when you can push the envelope, which is again suffering, it's not easy. I mean, I wish it would be, a magic
it's
button.
Hours and hours. But again, you coming from the background you coming from, right? With discipline and so on and so forth. Like when I saw you, I'm going back to the editing stuff. When I saw you and you were like, yeah, I'm editing about 4 hours on it, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't be able to just.
Well, this is where suffering comes from, because to make it look pretty, very often.
And all those changes, like people don't realize, like make cuts and merge this together and put music on it, and then different angle and.
I like the analogy. I will tell you. Remember I told you about lighting, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you have two, let's say, 5% better light, 5% better microphone, 5% better camera.
Yeah.
How many percent is that?
5%, I guess. Or is it more? Is it accumulating?
More. It's all accumulating, because you have 20? You have a little bit
of everything.
So
it's 20
on high level, right? So when we coming to the level now, this is very funny. Me, Craig Smith, which is a dance production house, Clement Jolly, which is we all work in dance in dance business, right? Or take anybody else. They're using Sony a lot, and there is we're using Sony for the portability and so on. We're using Sony FX3 and so on. And how much can you push, because the cameras are the same, lens is almost the same. So what else? How can you push your creativity? How can you push?
Can you?
So it looks different. So it looks
tweak
better. So somehow it does. Somehow it does. So that's where, if you're asking what's next for me, is to develop that level where my goal was always been from a very beginning is to be the world class, world class in whatever I do in a video, whatever I do in the dancing, right? So then defining for me what is the world class, and right now is to be able to produce those imagery which you can put on the biggest screen ever possible.
Gotcha.
I enjoy so far doing commercials, was fun, but would love to make a film. Would love to make a feature film, because that's a different beast again. It's like we were talking, competitions versus world championships. That's a very different beast. So stuff like that.
Would you write the script, or you hire somebody?
I have an idea for the script. However, I think before that you need to practice. You need to do some stuff, before you jump. Because again, you hire a company who, like a production company, and you direct it, or you knowing your knowledge, bringing your own people to do that, to this to work. So
to say, you still in the search or outlook for people that really fit. Like you said, on the last USDC, everything kind of fell in place because you know the people and so on. So you kind of look out for people to fit into your team, or
no, I would say there's always a moment in life. Right now, I should say, I feel the life is pushing it in a certain direction. When you put it out a thought, I mean, however wicked as it sounds, whenever you put out a thought, life is pushing you towards that direction, slowly but surely. And if you comply, you'll go faster. So right now, to film a movie, it's time. And right now, being with that schedules, with that business, right? Yeah. So, as you know, as Ballroom Backstage, I'm filming short documentary films about dancers. Yeah. And so on. But to film a motion picture, which is staged, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
Every time me and Craig we scheduling time to do this, something else came up, and we disregard that project.
So it's not. You said something very interesting. Yeah. What really got into me. So you said whatever the output is, life anyway pushes you into
towards
direction.
It depends if you comply or not.
So what you're saying, let's say, okay, you say you want to do a movie.
Yeah.
Right? But the life decides otherwise and pushes you to the company.
Let's say, if you want to do a movie, life will gonna help you to do the movie slowly but surely.
Okay, got it.
It depends if you see it or not. If you're gonna follow that path, because somebody say there's a difference between I want and I will.
Got it.
Daddy, I want a car, or I will fucking have a car.
Gotcha,
it's two different things.
Gotcha. And the life kind of directs you towards it.
It's
if you see it, you said, right?
Fun enough, yes. So far there's again, I enjoy high level productions, be it movies, be it something else. Yes, I said I want to do a movie, yes, and I will.
Yeah.
At what point I will figure it out. I enjoy high-level productions, be it documentaries, be it lifestyle or reality TV.
Yeah.
I enjoy high-level stuff. So there's a certain things I'm not willing to compromise on anything.
Got it.
At any point. So I think the opportunity will present itself, and I probably will take it.
Fantastic, man. So before I ask you the last question of this podcast, I have a fun question for you.
Yeah.
What does a dance show for you? What do you think make a dance show great or amazing or impeccable or memorable?
You mean a video show or
no? Or just if you're watching a show. If you're watching a show, dance show, what does the show amazing? Like, I don't know. Many things. I know you're a filmmaker, so a certain setting of the light, ambiente, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But what makes it memorable for you, or impactful, or
I don't think it's a one thing. Definitely, it's not a one thing. I think it's, again, like we said, 10% there.
If you take away this technical stuff,
But you can't.
no. Let's just imagine, please.
Imagine what?
No. The technical stuff, yes, we are dancers. We look at the technique and the quality of the movement, right? But in terms of impact, feeling, right? What do you think? The technical stuff, yes, but like the other aspect, let's focus on the other aspects besides the technical stuff. What do you think makes a show amazing, impactful, memorable, special, I guess, for you as a personal opinion?
Person prepared and caring. Meaning, I've seen a lot of shows like all of us did. When you have people who are just performing because they just get invited, and they, I just seen in the recent part, very very recently, person is very famous, they get invited, but the show itself is crap. There's no preparation. It looks like a bad improv. The outfit is terrible.
Got it.
And they hype that person, but you look at it, person is talented, like whatever, but it's nah. So if the person is caring and they're making the best out of it, no matter if let's say there's no technical part, like a light or music is crap, or the ballroom is terrible, or the venue, right?
Yeah.
But that person is, so caring and so prepared, and they throwing their life to that line. I think that would make it for anyone.
Yeah.
Like, we looking, again, bringing an example is Kobe Bryant, right? You can watch it, his 20 best shots, like whatever. He's so cared and he's so prepared to that moment. So you didn't care how many seconds, or what's the score, who is playing. You just see for his performance, and you in awe.
Yeah.
So imagine if you have people who just coming out and they're just dancing improv, or the show is just not cutting it, because very often in dancing, you have to experience, you have to explore different topics other than sad, because everybody's doing the same shit. Everybody's cutting their heart out on that floor, and it just becomes, all the same thing. Got it. And everybody, doing the same routine, what they do at the competition and so on. So that doesn't really do it for me anymore. Yeah. I mean, there's very rarely and very often somebody would move me in the competition who is not even a winner. Got it. Just because they're so into it, and they're so kind of in that moment, they're pushing and they care, and wow, that's cool. Like it reminds me of something. It touches you. Got it. Maybe reminds you of yourself pushing it and being in it, and I guess maybe, I don't know, but say, remembering last USDC, there's two different couples touched my heart really, which weren't even top 3. Got it. We won't say the name, but I understand what you're saying. All right, last question of this podcast, and man, thank you very much one more time. This is amazing. What would you say were the life lessons for you throughout your career, dancing career, and now as a production, as a filmmaker, as a artist, that taught you life lesson through the process of dancing, through the process of filming, through the process of interacting with people in these fields? Cycles. It's you have to do the job to do the work. So, and you have to do them all the time. Meaning, what I mean by cycle is, it's not just you doing once and it comes to you. Yeah. It's repetition. Every single day you're doing your stuff. You're brushing your teeth, you're cooking your food, and so on. No matter what, at what field you are. Already for 6 months, I'm getting up every morning doing a stretching, no matter what time it is. Today I got up to, it was 5:40. I did my stretching.
And I overslept.
I
You
know.
waited 2 hours for me.
It's okay, but
Guys,
my point. Listen,
this is how amazing of a guy he is.
my point is, life lesson was to realize that you have to. Every day it's not going to be the same. You have to just repeat. Obviously you have to do it the best way you can, but you have to, even a small amount will amount over time to the big
compound.
The compounding effect. And it's hard to realize until you try something. For example, I will give advice. I educate myself while I'm brushing my teeth. It's while you whatever
YouTube.
I'm sorry for the details here. YouTube University. I'm sorry for the details. Flossing your teeth and brushing, and washing your face. For me, being so slow takes about 15 minutes. Okay, so it's just like while me watching something.
Gotcha.
So average video on YouTube 10 to 15 minutes. Whatever topic you want to watch, and usually I watch systematically for a long time the same topic.
Got it.
So being, let's say, video production, right? I would watch the same topic or the same guy for a long time. He has different approaches for the same thing. And I'm noticed over time, oh shit, I got improved. I got better at this. Dancing, same things, my turn.
Because you're around it, you in it, you cooking in it, and it just rubs off of you, right?
But look how little that is. It's 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So for me, the life lessons from dancing, realizing back then is, if you want something, you have to keep it pushing. You have to, do not give up. Don't ever ring that bell, right? Don't give up.
Yeah.
Repetition. Do it as much as you can. And another part is, and I'm still suck at it, is organizing your day. I still suck at it. I mean, there's some people are great at it. I'm organizing your day, but I figured that some people mentally feel better at certain things. I feel better when I do first certain things in the morning and then leave it, and the rest of the day is doing something else.
Gotcha.
So that's my life lessons.
And any other lesson out there?
Any other lesson?
Yeah.
Don't look around too much.
Don't look around too much.
Well,
meaning,
we're living, especially if you're a dancer who lives in a competitive field. Don't look too much to other people, what they do, and especially results. Who's going ahead of you? Live in that competitive life. Enjoy it as much as you can. Be friends, even so people going ahead of you. Be friends, because this life is long. Competitive dancing is not. Do your stuff, develop your style, develop yourself, and don't look too much around.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming. I know you're recovering from your flu and you waited 2 hours. Oh my God. I was so embarrassed, guys. I was so embarrassed. And he's such a kind person. He called me like 12 times. He was like, 7. I was like, I take the time. I will wake up. I was
doubting myself. I'm like, did I mess up the day?
No. It wasn't you, man. It wasn't you. Dimka.
Anyway, guys,
thank you very much.
Advertisement spot. If you guys ever watch Ballroom Backstage, there's lots of, like you're trying to do the useful job. Yeah. Usefulness in Ballroom Backstage. There's a lots of great interviews with great people on different topics. We're not just having fun. We discuss right on the competition. They sharing amazing stuff.
Gotcha.
How they practice. How they live. Yeah. Their approaches and latest stuff from their from their career. And
gotcha.
Obviously, if you want to see behind the scenes of the competition,
definitely check out Ballroom Backstage for sure, because it's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming again, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And
my pleasure,
our relationship is like, we don't speak to each other, over the phone or whatever for like a month, and then out of the blue, Dmitry calls me, "Hey dude, how you doing?" And then we spend like half an hour on the phone.
That's life.
Checking on each other, right?
No,
and then
you're a father now, so yeah.
I'm father now?
Your father now.
Father. Yeah. I am. You father now. And then we meet like once in half a moon for a coffee. Like
that's why I waited
3 months.
To meet you.
Yes.
You owe me breakfast,
and the camera is gone. It turned off because
it's good.
This is the perfect timing. We have the other camera. So, guys, thank you very much. this was, is, and always will be the judgment-free zone of the Dance Art and Life podcast. And thanks again, Dmitry, for coming and share with me your amazing story, because I'm 100% sure it brings value to people that listen. Thank you very much, and see you next time.